We just got some brand new data that is absolutely shocking that makes it look like the likelihood of XRP flipping Bitcoin might be a lot easier than initially anticipated. In this video, I want to go over what that data is. Guys, this is something I never anticipated to see this soon into XRP's utility cycle. In this video, we're going to break down that as well as a very powerful XRP price chart. Make sure to stick around for that. You are not going to want to miss it. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the content. So I want to start out this video and talk about something pretty fascinating and, in my opinion, a great indication that the cryptocurrency utility cycle is here. Now, this is something that's been speculated on for a very long time, but we're starting to see actual action with the administration actually greenlighting a lot of the cryptocurrency companies that we specifically focus on, specifically Ripple, right? There are these big institutionally focused cryptocurrency companies. And for a while, it was really hard for them to reach their true potential because of the fact that a lot of the companies that wanted to use these products and use these companies simply couldn't because the rules and regulations were so strict against literally not being able to. So for the longest time, we saw this weird imbalance where there was a bunch of retail activity in the cryptocurrency market, but we weren't really seeing that institutional adoption. This forced a lot of people to stop looking at these products, focusing on institutional use cases. But one of the things I tried to really hammer home on this channel was, in the same exact way you had a lot of retail adoption of the internet in the very early days prior to rules and regulations allowing financial institutions to step in, you're going to see the same exact thing with cryptocurrencies. For the same exact reason why retail loved the internet, institutions love the internet. The same exact reason retail loves crypto, institutions are going to love crypto. It's just an infrastructure upgrade, and to think that won't leak into every single aspect of finance is extremely naive. And at this point, you're literally seeing the institution showing you. Take a look at this. This was from earlier today. What we see right now is the American Bankers Association is now lobbying and urging the OCC to greenlight firms like Ripple and Circle to get a banking license. Now, this is extremely powerful and honestly not for the reason that I think a lot of people think. A lot of people are looking at Ripple and Circle getting this banking license and competing with people like Bank of America and JP Morgan. I can tell you something very interesting. I can't say too much detail on this, but this is not the plan. These players, specifically Ripple, do not want to compete with these banking partners. It's not what they do. It's not part of their business. What Ripple really wants to be is a technology provider. They don't necessarily want to hold a whole bunch of customer accounts. Not what they're interested in doing. What they are interested in doing is having trusted products that these banking institutions can use with confidence. And that's what these banking licenses deliver. It's not necessarily the fact that Ripple's going to be coming in and disrupting these other banking firms. It's not what Ripple's goal is. Ripple's goal is to create enterprise products that these banks can use with confidence. A great example of that, RLUSD. Right now, we are seeing a huge spike in the amount of RLUSD being minted. Actually, in just the last month alone, we have seen over $100 million added to RLUSD's market cap, putting it over $500 million. Now, I think this is just peanuts in the long run in comparison to where we're going, but this is one of those products that is going to benefit greatly from a banking license. It's going to make it so RLUSD can be the #1 trusted stablecoin in the entire market. And a lot of banks, right, are not going to want to go figure out the technicals of setting up a stablecoin, doing custody, and all these other things. They're just going to want a dollar-denominated asset that they can use for these services. This is where Ripple steps in. Ripple's not trying to necessarily disintermediate that entire bank. What are they really trying to do? What they're trying to do is create a trusted product that can allow these banking institutions to interact with it. Ripple, being a bank, provides them the licenses and the regulation to be able to guarantee deposits, something that's going to be absolutely critical for any banking institution stepping into the cryptocurrency sector. So it's really important to understand Ripple's angle here. They are getting the banking license so that they can better provide the services to these institutions to meet their quality expectations so they don't have to have fears about stepping into this new high-tech world that they're not a company to. They want to make sure that everything checks off. The rules and regulations are there, and that is something that only Ripple has been focused on for the past couple years. While the rest of the industry said, let's just ignore these things, let's go do whatever we want, Ripple has built the rapport with the people who actually matter in making these products institutionally viable. Now, that's not always exciting at first, right? Because you don't see that retail level liquidity coming in. But it's one of those things that's going to be massively beneficial in the long run because it's not focusing on people putting in $10,000. It's focusing on people putting in hundreds of millions of dollars, which I believe is going to be the more important thing later down the road. And what we're seeing is a lot more people are starting to understand this. Take a look at this, and this was the really shocking thing I wanted to show you in this video. This actually blew my mind when I first saw it. For the first time in history, literally the first time in history, we are seeing that searches for XRP and Ripple are outpacing BTC and Bitcoin. This is something that I never anticipated to see, especially not so soon. Whether Bitcoin maxis like it or not, what we are seeing is that people have a very large interest in Ripple's institutional playbook. The blue line is Ripple search terms. The blue line is XRP searches. The yellow line is Bitcoin searches. And for the first time in history, we are literally seeing XRP searches on the internet outpacing Bitcoin. This is so shockingly bullish, I cannot even understate it. For the longest time, there was just this idea that Bitcoin led the thought space. Everyone was focused on Bitcoin, and it was going to be really hard for XRP to take over that public mindshare. But for the first time ever, that is switching. And it's because more and more people are subscribing to the thesis that I laid out earlier in this video. Financial institutions are going to be interested in this asset class. And in many cases, I think this asset class is going to be dominated by financial institutions. That is where liquidity is driven. That is where the vast majority of transactions happen in the current financial system. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. The vast majority of people don't want to interact with blockchains. They just want their money to move fast and quick, and they don't even care necessarily about investing into it. They just want to have a system that works for them. And that's what the financial institutions adopting these protocols will be able to deliver given this new plumbing. These financial institutions don't necessarily want super slow transaction and high fees, right? If they have ways to make better products for their customers, it's going to make them more competitive with different fintechs out there. People are starting to understand that XRP is going to be part of this transformation, and Ripple has been leading the way in driving it. That is why the search terms for the first time ever are usurping Bitcoin. The vast majority of people are starting to wake up. They're starting to see the thesis that we have been outlining for the past couple years. And for the first time ever, that is now reflecting into real data we can monitor and see. And I don't think it's any coincidence that that's why the price is moving at the same exact time. More and more people are starting to say, you know what, this industry is more than just Bitcoin. And I need to figure out how to expose myself to some of these technologies that are going to play a critical role in the transformation of the actual plumbing, not just buying an asset and hoping it's going to go up. And in terms of what that's going to do for the price of XRP, I thought this was a really, really good chart. What this is showing is XRP's parabolic run based off of 2017 compared to now. And what we can see is XRP is moving in almost the same exact way. Back in 2017, XRP hit its previous all-time high, kind of stalled out before making another parabolic pump. Right now, we are seeing that XRP is in the midst of doing the same exact thing. The only difference is this next pump is going to take us to much higher dollar values for XRP. This chart specifically, right? And one of the reasons I love this chart is because I don't think it's showing anything from a chart perspective that looks totally unrealistic. If XRP was to make another leg up, right? Probably somewhere in this blue box. Now, what's so exciting about that is even at this middle, more conservative line, right? Which I don't think is that unrealistic for XRP to hit just looking at the chart, right? It just looks like exactly what it would have done in 2017. That's already a $22 XRP. The top of this range, an $105 XRP. Now, what I love about this chart so much is it's just very understandable in terms of just seeing what XRP could likely do. XRP moves in these vertical lines and then it stalls out. Moves in a vertical line and then stalls out. But looking at the past performance of XRP, it just doesn't look astronomically absurd to see XRP reaching somewhere in these ranges. And I think that is likely what we're in the midst of seeing as the cryptocurrency market continues to develop, as the XRP ETFs come online, as we see more and more large institutions making their intentions clear to people, and as more people decide they need to own XRP because of that. There's a lot of things shifting in the industry right now, and I think it's going to shift people's interests as well. Right now, for the first time ever, we are seeing searches for XRP outpace Bitcoin. I honestly think we're just at the start of that. I think the old narrative that people just want Bitcoin and that's all they want and they're not interested in how these things are going to be used is going to go away quickly. The vast majority of people who invest money look for utility, they look for use case, they look for a sticky network effect. And that is something that is much easier to comprehend in the case of XRP than almost any other cryptocurrency out there. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. And for now, Mickle out.